Hello there, this is Andy from BlackStandardStudios, and today I'm going to be showing you how to do a basic background in GIMP. GIMP is a free photo editing software, and many people refer to it as the free version of Photoshop because it has very nice operations and very nice just overall usage in it. I'm not sure what I'm trying to explain right now, but it has a lot of tools you can use. Basically, you have the layers right here, which is always necessary in a photo editing program, and you also have all your different tools like a pencil and a brush, and your fill bucket and your blur and all that. So many people refer to it as the free version of Photoshop because it is, it's very well rounded for a program. So now onto the tutorial. We're going to go to File, New, and you can do whatever height you want. I currently have mine set to 1280 by 1024, which is a very universal kind of resolution, mainly for what many people will refer to as a square monitor, but it's just a standard 4:3 ratio pixelation monitor, which is basically the other one besides widescreen 16:9 or 16:10. So let's do OK, and we're going to see that it's going to be white. We want to change that to black. So you want to make sure that your foreground here is black. And then we're going to select the fill bucket tool and just click on the layer, and here it slowly becomes black. Then we're going to go to Filters, Light and Shadow, Lens Flare. And here we're going to, for the purposes of this particular background, we're going to place the lens flare around kind of near where it's going to form kind of a box right here on the corner. And what we're going to do is we're going to be placing another one right there so it forms an X. And so it doesn't have to be perfectly placed, but you have the general idea of the shape that it's going from the down left to the upper right. And so now GIMP is going to render it, and don't be worried if it's rendering slowly. For some reason, I don't think it has anything to do with what your particular computer build is or anything, but this program in particular just happens to take slowly because I can perform operations similar or exact to this in other programs, and they work fast, but this one works slowly. So don't be afraid about that if it arises and you're like, oh, what's wrong with my computer? Because it's fine. So now we're going to go and do another lens flare. So Filters, Light and Shadow, and Lens Flare. And now we're going to see that we have the Y and X axis here, which is really good for positioning things correctly. And so now we're going to go along this X axis and maintain the kind of height for it so it forms a better looking X. And again, it doesn't need to be perfect. And you can adjust it accordingly by paying attention to the little spaces here between these circles and the sides of the picture if you want to make it perfect, but it doesn't always have to be. And that's good enough for now. So we're going to do OK, and it's going to be rendering this next one for a while. And once it's put up, you're going to see that we have these two lower images, and it's going to be going across to form an X. Now, for this next part, once this is finished rendering, we're going to be adding another piece to this puzzle. See, now I have this X sort of shape, and these are two main pieces. So now we're going to go to Filters, Light and Shadow, Supernova. Now, we're going to place this in the center. You can place it wherever you want to whenever you get the filter to be used. And because what we're going to be doing is, since we see that this has an X but there's these two dots in the middle, we want to cover that up and make sure that this X kind of looks like an X besides like it looks like spider eyes or something right now. So what you want to do is you want to place it in the center, and I think on default your supernova is kind of small, so you want to make it big enough. I'm having mine at 20 to where it's going to be covering these two dots, and it's going to be creating a shape for itself. On supernova options, you can also change the spokes, which are the amount of flares that are coming out of this supernova, and you can also change random hue, and what that does is it changes these colors that come in between every few spokes, depending on what you choose with it. But for now, we're just going to keep it on 0 because it gives it a nice amount of definition that we're going to need in a second. So we're going to press OK. It's going to be rendering the supernova again. And we're just going to let that load. And now you see that we have this kind of star where the two dots were, and now it does look kind of like an X. One's going across and one's going across, and then we have something in the center. Now this looks relatively cool, I guess. It's simple, but I mean it looks cool. But now we can make it look even cooler, and we're going to go to colors, and we're going to go to brightness and contrast. Now we can adjust this in two ways, and you can do it to your liking and however way you want to. You can adjust it by using these knob sort of things, and you can also adjust it by actually clicking on the picture and dragging. And what that does is it's basing where you put your mouse on the axis, and it's using it as a kind of form for it. This is really nifty. I use this to accidentally find out how I'm going to do this tutorial. I accidentally clicked here, and it was changing the color of the thing, and you can browse the definition that way. So you can adjust it however you want to whatever you're liking. But for now, I'm going to show you this. So we're going to reset it. So now we have our original picture again. Now I'm going to pull this back to around 20, I believe. No, let's pull it deeper. Let's pull it to 30, and let's push it back up. Let's push the contrast up. And what contrast is? It's the difference in the picture of what you're doing, because brightness increases the levels, and contrast does the opposite. It makes it so there's more of a difference in between everything. Like it's kind of like the Rebel. Nah, I'm still adjusting these to the way I want it to be. So if you were to pull the contrast down and push the contrast up, it's going to bring out the bright parts, and it's going to keep down the darker parts, and it's going to put more contrast in it, so it gives it more of a high definition kind of feel as well. Push this up a little bit, and just feel free to mess around with whatever you want it to look like. Right now I'm trying to get it to a certain way, which will look cool in a second. This is good for now. I'm pretty sure this is good for now. I have a little bit more contrast. A little bit less. Again, just do it however you want to, whatever way it looks for you. I'm trying to bring out certain elements at the moment. Alright, so this is good. Right now, so you can see what we did here. We had that X, and now we have these two other substances, and now we have something in the middle to form kind of a focal point. And now right here we have the lens flare, the little elements that radiated off of that. It formed these weird red orb looking things that kind of look like they glow. This looks, it's not always what you're intentionally looking for, but it looks, it looks nice, it's creative. And that's what I'm trying to teach here, is that you can do whatever you want to your pictures to your liking, and it can, you can like make money off of it. You can like sell backgrounds or make this an album cover or something, and people will like it. People will want to buy stuff like that, and you can even like it. You can just put this up as your desktop if you want to. So now we have our picture up, and I just noticed that this also, because of the spokes of the supernova, it also makes this look like fire, like fireballs coming out. Anyway, we're going to go to Save As, and I'm going to save it to my pictures, and going to put the drop down to JPEG because that's more of a widely used one. And when you save, put in your name. I'm going to name mine Tutorial, and I'm going to put dot and then JPG, which is short for JPEG, and then do save, and it's going to bring up this little window right here, and here you can adjust the quality. I'm going to put mine all the way to 100, and it also gives you these other options. I checked optimize, and there's also something called smoothing, but I really honestly don't pay attention to that, because as long as the quality is up, you don't really need to smooth anything out, I don't believe, unless you're doing some extremely high quality stuff. But this is just basic, and then we're going to do save. And then it's going to save it, and now we have our picture. Now we can close GIMP, and now we can go to My Pictures, and now we have our picture in here. And we made this, and it looks like kind of like an album cover, like an artistic drawing or something. And it looks nice, and it looks like something you could use. It looks very clear. It gives a lot of definition out in the colors, and it's very high quality. It's not complicated, but it looks very nice. It has an aesthetic, pleasing view to the eye, you know? So, there you go, everybody. There's your tutorial for a basic background. This was Andy, and I hope you learned something. Tune in next time, or tune in to some other videos and keep learning from us. Thank you. This is BlackStandardStudios. Bye.